So I would say don't lean your ladder on the wrong building. I don't care how hard you work when you're starting a business. Like I started a business a long time ago about like a daycare. It was going well, things happened, and then next thing you know, I realized when I was in trouble, the person that I was with, they were not willing to help me to get it to the next level. We had people saying they were coming, they're bringing the other kids. They were so happy. We were about to be full. And then I just pulled the rug under. I was like, you know what? I'm done because my ladder is leaning on the wrong building. And the same thing in the relationship. I depended on the wrong person. I chose the wrong person and they were not there. It's not about money. It wasn't about that. It was about the willingness to make the sacrifice so we could get to the next level. So if I went and did the work, I didn't require any, sacrifice on your end. I made everything easy for you. And when it was your turn to like, try to make an effort or help, they didn't want to do it. So when you pick somebody, you go down this rabbit hole with them. If they are insecure, that's going to be your problem. If they're not financially responsible, that's going to be your problem. If they are stingy, that's going to be your problem. If they talk behind people back, that's going to be your problem. So you have to make sure you're vetting for the right person. And sometimes we make the mistake, like if you're young, you might be overconfident and say, well, I know I can be married for the long term, or I know I can stay with somebody forever no matter what. But then you pick somebody that don't have the same level of commitment. You see what I'm saying? And then it's hard for you to find somebody that's quality when you're not quality. So if you don't have the right qualities, that's why people don't know what to look for. Well, look for what's in yourself. And if that's a good result, then you'll pick somebody great. But if you overlooking too much stuff and you overlooking all the red flags, a good person can end up with a bad person. So for me, it was more so like take money off the table, take looks off the table, and put like I need character. What is your character like? Nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes, but who are you at your core? What is your personality? Because I could have so many other people, but because they don't have a great personality, I wouldn't put myself through the headache because I know I'm easygoing. So I don't want a difficult. I don't want a bossy person. I don't want to know it all. I want somebody that has is easygoing personality like me because that's who I feel like I will get something out of it. The other way around is like that person gets an easygoing personality, but they're difficult. Why would I put myself through that? And then also what about your values? What kind of values do you have? What do you stand for? Do you have family values? Are we going to make if I'm not around, like, men say, like, if I'm not around, I want her to be able to choose the same thing I would. She would know what I like. We would choose the same way. But sometimes people picking based off of who they can manipulate and control versus if you're not there, who's going to stand up and who's going to be able to make the same kind of level of decisions that you will be able to make. So also super hardworking person is very, very important because if they're not lazy, so a lot of people want to look at job title and all that, but if that man's not lazy, he's working his butt off, he's doing the best that he can, you could work with that versus, oh, he have to have it all together. And sometimes men make a lot of money, but they got 3 days, 4 days off. Like, what are you doing with your 4 days? Just sitting around doing nothing? So I look at all of those kind of things, and that's how I say you would choose your husband or wife, and that's what I say.
Okay. So I got a follow up question. I'm gonna actually start with this. So a couple weeks ago, I think it might have been last week, JR just did a show where he was interviewing these two ladies. And since we're on the topic about choosing a life partner, the topic of that show was, hold on, let me make sure I got it right, was trying to fix your partner in a relationship. And so this lady said something that kind of resonated with me, and I think it kind of applies here. And I'm going to ask y'all my question after I play it.
At that point, they're asking you to be like an accountability partner in that sense. So I think that if that's the case, it's okay to put in work to try to improve them. Because I do believe that your partner should be someone who can help make you better, right? Like you have to want it for yourself, but I think it's okay for your partner to create that safe space, create that accountability, be that mirror a little bit. Yeah, that motivation so that you do get better. I do believe that's an aspect of relationship that should exist. I will say, though, something that my grandmother told me that I think is applicable in this situation, and I always think about it, is the same thing you love about a person is the same thing you hate about them. meaning that the things that you fell in love with that person about during the dating process, oh my God, they're so ambitious. Oh my God, they're so successful. They have so much money, whatever the case may be. I'm just throwing out examples of it. Oh, but you hate the fact that they're working so late. And you hate the fact that they're so, obsessed with their career and all these different things. You know what I mean? Like, that's just one example. But like, sometimes, the thing that you want to change is the other side of the coin of the things that you love about them. And so that's something you also have to like be like conscious of as their partner. Like, all the things, all the benefits that I get from this is something that I really love, but like, I don't like the sacrifices that goes with it. And so is it something that they really need to change? Or is it something that you need to kind of embrace and maybe ask them to have a better balance of? So that's something else I would throw out there.
So my question is basically, do y'all think people do tend to choose partners based on the things that they like about them, and then they tend to hate what the consequences of liking that part of them is? Okay, maybe I asked that wrong. Did I ask that wrong?
Yes.
Nah, you just explaining what she said, anyways.
Right. So, what do y'all think about that?
You pick somebody based off looks and money, and then you want to change their character. That you setting yourself up to fail if that's the case. You see what I'm saying? Like, it depends on what you're saying is okay. What it depends on that person's criteria. Depends. If you're talking about little tiny things and you're trying to help that person, like first of all, you should be able to accept somebody for who they are. That would be the best bet. So find somebody that you can accept everything that they got going on, and therefore you don't have to change that person. A man will feel more comfortable if you go in with good faith. But if you go in trying to change, then men always want a woman not to change, and women always want to get married and change that person. So it's kind of like a bad faith thing because you're trying to change them, and you should just work with them.
Well, I don't think that was. I don't
Nah,
think specific.
I got something different. I got something different. I got something different about it. So I made a whole video about this joint. So it's like you fall in love with a man, but you hate what it is to be that man, right? So it's almost like you love an assertive man, but then when you get with him, like, damn, he kind of controlling though. Or like she mentioned, she said she love a dude who's financially sound, right? But then the dude work all the damn time. Work is a priority for him, and sometimes he might put that first because if not, then you're not going to be able to do the things that you want to do, right? Is that kind of where she's? That's what I got out of it. So that's the whole thing. Like people hate that part of it. Like, all right, you want me to have a crazy physique, but you hate him a gym rat. Like it is what it is. Like it takes hard work to accomplish most of those things, especially when people call themselves wanting alpha males, if that's what they expect. And not every woman does, but when you do, you just have to understand that you are not going to be his priority. If you want a man that's hyper successful, then he's not going to have nearly as much time for you or family as he'd like to. And you'll have to supplement and you'll have to compensate for what it is that he does sometimes. And that's the hard part to live with because it's hard work.
So you basically they want a man to be the alpha male in the world and then come home and be a beta male or something like that. Is that what y'all talking about?
That could be something. I wouldn't necessarily say that's exactly what I was speaking to, or I think that Trev was speaking to, but that could be one of the things. Like basically you fall in love with this aspect of that person, right? But then there's a trade-off to it.
Yeah.
And the trade-off is the thing that you wind up hating about that person, you want to change about them later. So for instance, a man, you liking it, like she said in the video, the man is ambitious, he's hardworking and things like that. But then the trade-off to that later on that you hate about that person is, and we kind of talked about this last week, is he's at work 70, 80 hours a week. So he's not home enough. But that comes with him being ambitious. But you love the ambitious part, but you hate the part where it takes him away from the house.
They hate the lifestyle that the work, the grind brings, but they don't like him being away from the house. You can't have it both ways. I don't really see that. I see that situation in a lot of women. Getting themselves in this situation. I don't know any scenarios. I'm trying to think. I guess the gym rat thing, I really don't see a lot of men being mad at the women that are at the gym getting her body together all the time. The fact that gives them a chance to play God of War and try to get to level whatever when they get a chance on a Xbox or PS4. So that's just a trait that I see in females. I could be wrong though. If
I
somebody
got a
correct.
really good example for you, Bruce. Say a man that loves a woman that like he fell in love with how great she is, how great she looks, and how well she keeps up with her appearance, right? But then when he marries her, he finds out he finds out that damn, with this woman, it costs her $600 to do this. She wears the latest clothes, and then she gets her eyebrows pricked and prodded every weekend, and then she's in a bar beauty shop twice a week, and you hate that part about it because you're like, God damn, it costs me so much money to keep your looks up. But that's the thing that you absolutely loved about it was how beautiful she was when you first met her.
So why didn't she stop? Why does he got it? Okay, so basically he's saying she was able to maintain being consistent and keeping herself beautiful. But then when he got into it, now it became his job.
He took on that, and now he's like, I don't like, why can't you, can you stay at home and do your own eyebrows or do your own nails? Because I'm tired of paying for that. Why do we have to do it? And she's like, well, you remember those nails that I had the day that you got with me? This is the lady that does them. I don't know how to do that. You remember?
Well, I could see that happening because then now when you get into a relationship, if you do it the reverse way with the woman, you switching the responsibility. So that makes it equivalent to the man. But with the man, he's not switching the responsibility of the woman. When she come in a relationship, he's still paying for everything. He's still paying for he's still maintaining his business and his assets and stuff. So still, again, it's still only a trait that you see women deal with.
I think that maybe a closer example would be like if a woman like is always done up, but then you don't want to wait for her to get her makeup done.
That's
you know, stuff like
Okay,
that.
I can see that, but I mean, I can understand that, but I don't. It's just something that I don't see often enough to have a conversation about. That's all I'm saying.
I mean,
I would agree.
Okay.
I would agree with that for sure. I just think personally, it's not really a big deal from our side. We pretty much know. Getting back to what I was saying, like we pretty much know what we get ourselves into, and like I can see a woman who pretty and do all that, but after one conversation with her, I could pretty much tell like what goes into that. Like, and then I'm gonna have to take responsibility for it. So if I choose, to be with her, I pretty much already know what I'm getting myself into. I'm about to tell her to get ready 2 hours, 3 hours before, versus, me, I'm good with 20, 30 minutes. So like, I don't see that being a change or anything that I would like look at as a positive and then switch it to a negative and complain about it. Like,
if most men see a woman going to get her hair done and being in the salon or whatever in the gym, I mean, most men I know, they just go to the gym themselves or go shoot ball in the Saturday mornings with the fellas. And by the time they get out, it's about an hour away for her to get her stuff done. Like, it's just something that it's just not enough. It doesn't happen enough on a scale to where like it
happens though. Yeah,
it happens. Headline like,
like you got guys who will get with these pretty women and then be mad. You feel me? Where like it's dudes trying to get at her and like they feel insecure when guys look at and it's like that happens. But I mean, in my I don't really like. It's only expected. You know what I mean? Like it just to me it just doesn't really.
But I think Bruce is right. The men accept what comes with the consequences that come with whatever you like about that woman. But the women, they're just like, I want him to when he's busy, they don't want to just go do something with yourself until he gets back. Like that's all we have to do is pretty much act like the guys in this case because he's going to be at work. He's going to prioritize work. He's going to be checking his emails on a date. And you just have to be okay with that if that's the lifestyle you want to live or you want a hardworking man. It just comes with it, but we don't want to accept that it comes with it. So.
What, Sweeney, was you talking about like, say somebody got like a $2,500 a month beauty maintenance bill, and then that it bothers you that you now responsible for the bill to maintain that beauty?
I think that was a little over the top. I think Ruth gave a better example. Like for instance, you like how beautiful she is. She fine as hell every time you see her. But then when you get with her and y'all married, you find out that goddamn, she spent 6 hours in the bathroom getting ready, and we got to be out the house in 2 minutes. But she's like But I think Bruiser and I think Daryl are right that men are bigger, have a bigger understanding that life is about choices and trade-offs. So we understand that the choices that we make in women come with the trade-offs. Whereas I think a lot of women, which I personally believe, a lot of women want it all.
What
And
all that way?
all they see the choice that they made and they love it, but when they see the trade-off, they like, I'd rather you just get rid of that trade-off. Find a way to get rid of that trade-off so I can be happy again.